am Shei Phan, and I am an artist here with SOYYO magazine. So stay tuned for exclusive details of me and other amazing artists too. Peace out. Panda Nation! Hey, what's up, y'all? Shei P here, from Oklahoma, now in New York, Brooklyn. I'm an emergent artist. I've been doing art since I could pick up a pencil, pretty much. Started painting 7th grade, and then moved to New York, did modeling. Still model, but it's not my passion.
How old were you when you moved to New York?
I was about to turn 22.
Okay.
So modeled for a little bit, about 3 years. Didn't do art the whole time I was modeling, which almost drove me crazy. And then decided to not fully give up modeling, but kind of put it on the back burner and really start focusing on my art.
What inspired the transition?
Art is just in me. I've always gone back to art no matter where I try to go. College, my first major was nursing. Modeling was another outlet for me as an artist to learn different aspects of myself, which I did learn a lot, just about myself as a person, how my body moves, about composition, about lighting, meeting certain people in the industry, learning about fashion. But when it came down to it, as a model, you don't really have your own voice. And as an artist, I have a huge voice. One thing I can say, which it made me feel really good when I was on Top Model. We did the No Glove, No Love photo shoot, which was probably one of my favorites because it had to deal with like HIV and wrapping up and like safe sex. At that time, I had the half blonde, half black hair, and we had this amazing designer come in where she created like these beautiful gloves, but they were like wings. They had like feathers, and I had the huge ones where they were really long, and they gave me black on one side and blonde wings on the other side
to match the hair.
Yeah, so I'm thinking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be a really cool idea. So I went up to Yusai, which was like the creative director of the shoot.
Okay. And
I told him, I was like, oh my gosh, because we're shooting where it'd be like a double, so it'd be like 2 of you in one photograph, Okay. So I told him, I was like, how about we do this idea where as one of the person, it's just the black side, and then as the other person, it's just the blonde side. So it's still me, but it's 2 different people like battling against each other. Because it's dark. Light and dark, protecting yourself, having your own back. And then I said it, and he's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then Tyra was like, oh, what is this? And he was like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah. But I still lost.
How long have you been working on your own, I guess, brand and artistic identity?
3 years in the modeling industry, which I was not working on myself. I guess in a way making a name. Shei Phan, but that's when everyone knew me as just a model. But for the past 2 years, that's when I've been like trying to like set myself apart from just modeling and people knowing me or knowing my art before they know me. Which honestly, that's like such an amazing feeling when I have someone come up to me and they're just like, yo, don't you do the pandas? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yo, I love your work. I was like, what? Like, yeah. Just knowing like people know my art before they know me.
Right.
Because, my art is me. And my art it's a bigger voice than myself. It's a way for me to tell my stories, tell my struggles in a way without having to like tell them myself, I guess. Because a lot of people, they go through a lot of different struggles and battles with life, relationships, friendships, whatever the case may be. And sometimes it's hard to talk about them out loud. So my way of talking about them out loud is through my art. Each and every single piece I make, they all have a story. They all have like their own personality. Like they've kind of been through something, I guess, in a way, because it's my stories too.
I don't know, has your art changed since when you were back in Oklahoma to now in New York?
Yeah,
the style?
Oh yeah, definitely the style. Like when I go back home, like my style that I had was completely different than this. I can't honestly say which is better or which one I enjoy most, because I think it's just me growing as a person and learning myself as a person. So it's like, therefore you express yourself differently.
Right.
I mean, if you see my art, like, I do street art, I do contemporary, I make sculptures and crowns and costumes, and
you have an adaptable personality, so that's why you're able to immerse yourself in different groups.
True.
So that's the beauty behind what you do. And you started with Panda Nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how you grew a name for yourself as an artist. You developed that.
Right.
So tell me more about Panda Nation. It has some sort of united story behind it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So how Panda Nation started initially was because of Top Model.
Okay.
So, I knew I was going to be on TV. I was going to be seen by a lot of people. And for me, like, it was important that people did see me as an artist and not just there as a model. So I spoke to the producers, because you're not supposed to wear labels or any of that on TV. So I spoke to them. I was like, can I bring my artwork onto TV? And they're like, as long as it's 100% yours, it's all original, we don't mind. Okay. So I was like, all right, cool. So I sat down that night and I'm like, I need to come up with something that sticks with people. That's like relatable, but it's like edgy at the same time, and it's still me, and something that I will enjoy doing over and over. And then that's how the Pandas came about. My nickname when I first moved to New York was Panda. I got it from a couple model friends. My ex-boyfriend called me that, and I was just like, what? Everyone loves pandas.
Was it the black and white hair?
No, it was way before the black. I didn't even know I was going to get black and white hair. So that was just like a coincidence that just like fit into the whole panda scheme of things.
Absolutely.
Which I was like, that's why I was so excited. I was like, oh yeah! But yeah, so that was my nickname, and I've always posted, those panda memes of like, fuck racism, I'm black, white, and Asian. And then bringing the whole edge to it. Like, I've always been a tomboy. I grew up with 4 brothers. My older brothers are tattoo artists, so they have skulls all over their bodies. The skull and the panda, the cute and the cuddly with like the twisted and the raw and the dead, So it's like you kind of get the best of both worlds. And then that's when I was like, these need to be characters. Like, they can't just be one panda all the time. So that was when Molly, it was the birth of the pandas. Molly, that was me. The whole story behind Panda Nation is really, it's about bringing people together as one, and letting them know that race isn't a component in it, color isn't a component in it. If you're human or not, it's not a component,
Right.
If because we're all these beings, we're all these energies, and we all are connected with each other.
When did you start the Forget Me Not series?
Forget Me Not came about probably a year after the pandas. I had this panda mask, and I found this unicorn mask, and I've always considered myself a unicorn ever since I was little. My Chinese zodiac is the horse. Okay. Love horses, so I'm like, I'm a unicorn. I'm mystical. Initially starting with Panda Nation, I did a couple like promo videos, which I introduced the unicorn within the videos, not announcing it anywhere, not doing any shirts with the unicorn, but just placing this unicorn in random spots in the photo shoots and in the videos, just to get people thinking of like. So working with a photographer that actually got me into modeling in Oklahoma. Started doing nudes with him. I always find nudes very beautiful just as an artist, learning like the female body, the anatomy of it. It's rewarding at the same time because you are completely nude. So you don't have anything holding you back from who you are. And it's just like learning your body and like being comfortable with your body. But same time, it's like the whole reason behind the mask of the unicorn is, it's giving like praise to the female body and, the beauty behind it. But at the same time, it's, of course, it's seen as an object. So the reason with the mask is kind of, you can have my body, but you can never have my soul. Like hiding, you know, the windows to your soul with your eyes. Forget Me Not is my unicorn name. I actually looked it up on unicorn name generator on the internet. But I did put in all of my names and came up with the same thing, and the meaning behind it, I was like, this fits, and it stuck, and it just fit with everything I wrote even before finding the name. Writing poetry that goes along with these paintings. It's pretty much a series that is based off like my life and where it's going, and sometimes it's more of like my subconscious talking and telling me things before I know what's going to happen. It's
like a vision that you have before you put it onto canvas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I can honestly say I paint sometimes and I'm like, oh, this is a cool idea, but I don't understand the painting at that time. And like this one, I like recently, like last week, I painted this maybe a year ago. Last week is when I understood the meaning behind it. And this one is pretty much explaining the struggle behind having the city life, living in New York, becoming this artist that I've always dreamt of becoming, knowing that I do have this voice to change a lot, to voice a lot, to, you know, have this platform, but then always being connected to home, which is more Oklahoma country, and wanting that simple life, wanting that type of love, you know, wanting that type of connection with people. It's in a way of like me kind of like foretelling my future, my consciousness of like telling me like what I should do, or in a sense like just giving me advice of what needs to happen as an artist. Because a lot of times, like, you know, people don't trust their inner self. Because you already know what you're supposed to do. You already know what your purpose is in life. You already know like your capabilities. It's just being not smart, but maybe not being stubborn and start listening to your stuff. You know, with Forget Me Not, it is something I'm discovering every day about myself, who I'm supposed to be, what type of artist I'm supposed to be. And it's scary because a lot of people don't get to have that time to figure out who they are as a person.
Where can people find your work?
Yeah, I am working on my website. It's just, my art is just up there. It's not for sale online. But Instagram, I get a lot of stuff through Instagram. So Shei, SHEI _P. You can, follow me, see my art, DM me. Like, I check all my DMs, so don't be scared because I have a lot of followers. I post everything on Instagram.
Beautiful.
So that's like the best place to find me. The best place to find me.